Manchester United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Old Trafford, a ground where Tottenham have seen their fair share of shellackings and have also, in more recent times, seen their fair share of happiness. When they arrived into this game, their fans were buoyant. And when you cut on the TV, the first thing and the only thing that you could hear for the beginning part of this game was a rendition of When the Spurs Come Marching In. That's how confident the Tottenham Hotspur fans were coming into Old Trafford. Now, hitherto, this would be something that would be unthinkable because we've seen teams upon teams year on year get beaten at Old Trafford during the Fergie era. Because more recently, Manchester United is now a shell of the team that we knew them for. They are a soulless side who, despite having the weight of history on their shoulders, have a player in them in Garnacho and in Rashford who have been promising a lot but have not delivered. Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Izzy. I am here to thank you for everything that you were able to tell me in my video yesterday, the support that you have given me, and the feeling that you were able to give your boy was something that was indescribable. I would like to thank you so much for the support that you've given me so far, and hopefully we can continue to grow this channel together. So, for anybody that is new, please consider hitting that like and the subscribe button to let YouTube and everybody else know that you are enjoying this content. So what we're going to do now is talk about Manchester United and what they have been and what they aren't. After the first couple of minutes, Manchester United knew that they needed to respond to the chance of when the Spurs come marching in. And they eventually did so, when Højlund was able to let out a rasping shot that flew past Vicario before he even had the chance to respond. After that, Manchester United were a side that looked as though they might be able to thrill, but they didn't. Tottenham, on the other hand, have a manager who is showing that his team is not only just the flavor of the month, but everything that he believes in and that he's been able to do is something that Tottenham want to replicate on the pitch. Now, eventually, Manchester United started to concede chances. And one of the things that was a current theme in the first half, at least, was that they were very terrible at defending set pieces. Pedro Porro was having a very good game on the right-hand side. He was putting in crosses that were causing the defense a lot of problems. Now, the first warning side was a header that Rodrigo Bentancur was able to turn goal side, but was cleared off the line by Diogo Darlow. Whether or not the ball was actually going to go in or the trajectory was lending itself to going in was another story. But this should have been the first warning sign for Manchester United, one that they didn't heed. And only a few minutes later, they actually did concede from a corner kick. This time, Richarlison was able to glance a header into the bottom right-hand side. Manchester United were now looking very ordinary, and their midfield was being taken apart by two people who are not even the first choice team for Tottenham Hotspur. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Oliver Skip were running circles around the Manchester United midfield. Save for Bruno Fernandes, who still kept his ability to create in this game open, but Eriksen and Kobbie Mainoo, who we can't really hold too much accountable for the performance today, were being ran ragged. Kobbie Mainoo is going to have much better days, but in this game, him and Eriksen just did not seem to be gelling very well. Manchester United were now looking to only pick their moments to go forward rather than to be the team that we know and respect them for years past as the team that controlled games. Tottenham Hotspur were now growing into the game, and they were now starting to fashion chances, one that you could not even have thought about only a few years ago. Now, Manchester United are a team that pick their moments, and we've seen that so far this season. They have not been a team that have been sitting down and consistently controlling games. They have been very reactive. But one thing that they were able to do very well in this game was to pick their moments, and they did so when Rashford was able to score a very beautiful goal, one that he was able to pass into the bottom corner after some very good work from Højlund and from Bruno Fernandes. And only a few minutes later, they really should have gone 3-1 up when some very good play over on the right-hand side from Garnacho resulted in Rashford holding on to the ball for a little too long, and Tottenham were able to clear their lines. At this point, Tottenham realized that they needed to respond because they really shouldn't have been 2-1 down. The scoreline was a little bit deceptive, and a few minutes later, Oliver Skip, who in my opinion was very good in this game, was able to let a fizzing pass onto the path of Timo Werner, who was debuting for Tottenham today in the place of Heung-min Son on the left-hand side, but he was unable to test Onana by letting a very weak shot glance just past him over on the left-hand side. That should have been a warning for Manchester United, but their problems in defending set pieces presented itself again only a few minutes later when Romero was rocketing a header onto the crossbar. At this point, Manchester United were lucky to go into the break at 2-1 up. And after that, you could have told that Ange Postecoglou did what Ange Postecoglou does. He was able to get his team up for the second half, and only a few minutes into the second half, Manchester United conceded. A very good interplay from Timo Werner resulted in Bentancur getting his chance and letting out his own rasping shot past Onana. And at this point, it was 2-2. We did know at this point that this is how the game was going to end, but Manchester United realized that they needed to change the flow of midfield. And they called upon McTominay, who came in to replace Eriksen, who after a first half performance should really make Manchester United start considering some of the recruitment over the last few years, because him and Kobbie Mainoo, as I said before, were not really controlling this game. And that should be worrying, because Eriksen, for as beautiful as a player he has not been himself since he joined Manchester United, and it just seems as though he is letting the game pass him by. Kobbie Mainoo is going to have much better days in the future, but at this point, you can't have him against the team that Ange Postecoglou is, because we know that in transition, Tottenham are one of the best teams. And Manchester United were relying on their ability to transition Tottenham Hotspur. And funny enough, it seemed as though Tottenham did not really plan on this, because both of the goals that Manchester United scored in this game were not really from transition, and they were pretty much all centered in the middle of the penalty area. So that might be something that Tottenham might come out of this game not really liking. But after that, it seemed as though past maybe the 70th minute, Manchester United seemed keen on just trying to hold on to what they had and pick their moments to try and move forward. Pretty much what they had been trying to do all game. Tottenham Hotspur were controlling most of the play, but they didn't seem super serious on attacking Manchester United for the fear of the fact that their high line might be exposed. Now, towards the end of the game, Manchester United actually had a chance to win the game. We have seen Manchester United only draw one game. That was away at Liverpool, when they had a very dogged defense and they were able to see through a 0-0 draw. Now, in this game, they could have easily ran out winners when McTominay had a gilt-edged opportunity, one that he headed right over the bar after some very good play from Garnacho. Now, Manchester United, being only a team that has drawn one game prior to this game, are a team that you can tell either slightly win games or they slightly lose games. They either teeter on just being able to turn in a good performance enough to win a game, or they are getting beaten and being beaten soundly. Now, in this game, Tottenham Hotspur can come out the happier of the two. Why I say this is because they pretty much had their second string side out there. When you look at the fact that they didn't have Kulusevski, they don't have Son, they don't have Maddison, they didn't have Papsar, and they didn't have Yves Bissouma, and was still able to go to Old Trafford, a ground that intimidates anybody in the English Football League. And they were able to go over there and concentrate on their own game and control everything. Manchester United have deeper problems than we thought that they did. It's not only in just recruitment. They do not seem to have a formation or a lineup that you can trust. And Erik ten Hag has had enough time to be able to instill a game plan. Now, when you look at Tottenham, you know that they're a side that plays with a very high line. They can be exposed on transitions, but at the same time, they are very good at holding possession, and they are very good at transition play themselves. You can have a very discernible style of play that Tottenham play, but you can't say the same about Manchester United. And now Erik ten Hag is definitely going to have some fire under his bum, because the gameplay is not good, the results are not good, and to have a team that in Tottenham, despite the fact that, you know, they can plug and play a lot of the players into their squad, which is a lot of credit to Ange Postecoglou, you can't say the same for Manchester United, because Manchester United look very ordinary. And you cannot say that about the biggest team possibly in the world, because Manchester United are a behemoth. And I would say for their fans, I am definitely not a United fan, but I can say for their fans, they deserve a little bit better. And pretty much the way the Glazers have been able to let this team rot and not take care of most of the big problems that they have, because one of the biggest problems that most of their fans complain about is not only just the infrastructure, but the fact that it just seems as though the team has been let to go by the wayside. And in a game where they were completely dominated by a Tottenham Hotspur side that didn't have their big guns and their heavy hitters, they have a lot of things to be worried about. Overall, on the Tottenham Hotspur side, you can say that they were able to play very well at Old Trafford. They did so without most of their big guns. And more importantly, they were able to keep on playing the same way that they believe in. And the fact that their manager has been able to instill this type of gameplay into them speaks to just how much of an impact he's had on a team in such a short period of time. Only a couple of years ago, they had Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho, and these people were talking about Tottenham as though they were a team that cannot rise to the occasion. But it shows that as long as you have some good tactics, some good management, you might be able to take a team down from the doldrums all the way up to quite possibly fighting for Europe or getting into the Champions League. It's just about the belief that you're able to instill in your players, and Tottenham Hotspur have a high ceiling, because if you really think about it, once Son, Kulusevski, and Maddison and all the other players come back, they can even rival Arsenal and Aston Villa for that top four, and in some people's eyes, they could quite possibly finish as high as second, because you never really know how Liverpool might finish. They're doing very well right now, but without Salah, we don't exactly know how the next month is going to play out. But in Ange Postecoglou, Tottenham need to back this manager, and so far they seem to have done so with Dragusin, who came into the game, and he also made his debut, and in Timo Werner. If he's able to get these people to play half as well as he's gotten the other people to play, the sky's the limit for Tottenham. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think down below. Do Manchester United need to make an immediate change? I think that eventually they do need to make a change, because as much as I don't feel that it's a big fault of Erik ten Hag as far as everything that has transpired in the club for years and years, I also do question the fact that he doesn't have his team playing in a very discernible style of play. You can't really tell me what Manchester United are. They're not a counter-attacking team. They're not a possession team. They're not a pressing team. They just happen to be a team that is playing football. And for a club that is the size of Manchester United, with the history and culture that they have, it's not good enough. Over on Tottenham Hotspur, I think that they just need to keep on doing exactly what they're doing, because they're not only surprising the league, but they're also entertaining the league. But once again, thank you so much for your support, guys. It's been your boy Izzy. Let's get this channel to blow up. I want to do it, and I want to do it with your help. Until the next time, guys, as always, peace.